Okay, this is episode 4 of my Essential Information series, and obviously this is about lighting with kerosene. Now what you see in front of you is a standard Lamplight Farm fount and burner. They call it a number 2, but it's not really a number 2. The wick is only 3/4 of an inch wide, where traditionally it's always been 7/8 to 1 inch. It's a copy of a Queen Anne burner, which I'll show you in a minute why the Queen Anne's aren't as good as a Plume & Atwood Eagle. So you've got a narrower wick with a pour burner, and the wick is a Chinese wick, and they just don't know how to make wicks. And you've got such a draw. If you notice, all my lamps were set at half full. You measure up, you've got 5.5 inches to the burner. If I turn the wick up to get more light, then it looks pretty good, but the problem is it will slowly go down because it can't draw fuel. And you can see it, it's going down and getting dimmer. So I'm going to slide this off to the side here, and I'll show you a real number 2. There is a real number 2. It's got a 1-inch wick. I buy English Hattersley wicks, and if you notice the base, it doesn't have to necessarily be this base, but this is an antique base, and you got about 3.5 inches to the burner instead of 5.5, so it's drawing less distance. An antique lamp is never going to be looks over performance. All they had was these lamps. They designed them to work. Okay, here's a close-up of the Lamplight Farms burner and the flame. You come over here, there is the flame for a true number 2, an antique. Now these can be bought on eBay. They don't cost that much. And you can see that you've got twice the light for about the same amount of money. And if the power's out and you need a light, wouldn't you rather have something like that? So I'm going to show you a lineup of lamps, starting with a 0 and a 1, a 2, a 3, and the double 3 with twin wicks. That is the most powerful flat wick lamp you can buy. Now earlier I explained why I don't like the Kaden Lamplight Farms Chinese copies of the American Queen Anne. This is a Queen Anne. This is a Plume & Atwood Eagle. As you can see in the background, I like the Plume & Atwood Eagles. Starting with a 0, a 1, a 2, a 3, and the American, which is essentially a double eagle. Now you may wonder why I disparage the Queen Anne burner on the left and the Chinese copy from Lamplight Farms. If you look at the 2 here, this is your Queen Anne, this is your Plume & Atwood Eagle. You'll see that the Plume & Atwood, right here, the dome is lower, but yet the top of the dome has a higher rounded curve. Over here, you can see that the dome is higher and the top is flatter. It's a completely different style of thought on how to create a good burn. Now I'm going to open them up and show you the difference. Okay, that one's not going to stay. So anyway, if you notice, the wick tube is much higher on the Queen Anne, which would mean that the flame is higher up in the dome. the Eagle has a much lower wick tube, and they just seem to burn better. The mixture of air coming around the flame is better in a Eagle than a Queen Anne. Just before I light off these lamps, I should show you these number 3s. The top comes off. Your chimney will be attached, and that comes off as a unit. And there's a little guide mark right there that goes on there. And then all you have to do is turn your wick up and light it, and then take your chimney and the base, put it on, align the little nubbin, and it makes it so much easier to light an Eagle 3. Okay, we have them all lit, and again from the left to right is the 0, the 1, the 2, the 3, and the American double Eagle that I call it. Okay, we'll get a good close pan here. Now while we're on the double Eagle, you can't see it from that angle, but when I turn it, it has 2 wicks, and that gives it its great light ability. You'll have about 45, 50 candle power out of this one. So you got about 45 and 20 and 12 and 8 and about 5 to 6. The reason why you get 45 is there's a multiplication factor that the dual wicks, they work off each other, and the flame actually tends to curve in. I don't know whether you'll be able to actually see it or not, but the flame tends to curl in and feed off each other, and you can hold a higher flame without smoking. So this is about the best you can do on a flat wick kerosene lamp. I'm running Hattersley English wicks, and I prefer to run clean heat, although you can run kerosene, it'll run okay, or a mixture 50-50 of clean heat and kerosene. Okay, say you want more light than the double Eagle can produce. Your next step up before you go to a Aladdin, which is a fussy lamp but it does put out a lot of light, would be what's called a center draft lamp. This is a 1904 Rayo. It uses a round wick, draws air up through the center. That's why it's called a center draft. In the center, it has a flame spreader, just like a heater, and it produces so much heat. Miles Stair at milesstair.com, he makes borosilicate chimneys, and traditionally that's called Pyrex to handle the heat. So let me just kill this. If you notice, the lamp is brighter and it's less yellow. The center drafts tend to produce a whiter light. So let me zoom in on that burn and the flame spreader. Okay, we'll zoom in on that. Get right in there. You can see the flame spreader and the circular flame. And that will heat a small room, and will also light a small room because it's so bright. I don't know whether you can read the center, but it'll say Rayo. Probably about 60, 65 candle power out of the thing. It's very bright. Oh yeah, there's one more thing I should mention. If you buy a Areo or any one of the center drafts, you have to make sure that you've got the right chimney, because people just stick chimneys on them. And if you notice, the flame is following up the side of the chimney because of the flame spreader. It has to be the correct chimney. And Miles Stair at milesstair.com, he has the correct chimneys. He has researched it, and he will sell you the correct chimney. Because if you stick the wrong chimney on, it will never work the way it is designed to. Because, like this Rayo is a 2.5 inch fitter, people will stick any 2.5 inch bulb on and sell it because they don't know what they're doing. Now, if all you take from this video is to go on eBay and purchase an Eagle 3 burner, the difference that you're going to find is this is your number 2. This is your number 3. Far brighter. You're going from 12 to 20 candle power. And it will fit any of your lamps, because if you notice, there's 2 sets of threads. This is a number 3. This is your standard number 2. It will screw right on to the collar. And the difference between the 2 and the 3 is this is 7/8 to 1 inch wick. This is 1.5 inches.